just put the plugs back in. The left hand's slightly more usable now, so put the plugs back in so I can move the car to the middle of the garage. I need to get rid of those boxes, take those to the tip at some point, and just make a start, or getting the car, at least getting the car in the right place to start working on it. So yeah, it's let me just switch this off for a minute. It's been ticking over for about 10 minutes. I just wanted to recharge the battery really and make sure that was all good, but I will put it on a trickle charge anyway when it's back off when it's off the car. So yeah, trying to get the car in the middle of the area. So in terms of the hand, I can move my index finger now, I can move my thumb, I can pinch, only not very strongly, but it's improved. It's improved significantly. Not good enough to do a lot of things with yet, but the main thing, it's improved, thankfully. Yeah, so just sitting in the house on my ass doing nothing doesn't go well. It's been driving around the fucking twist, to be honest. So I thought today I've got to do something, and so I came in the garage, put the plugs back in, fired it up, let it tick over for 10 minutes to try and just make a little bit of movement with the car. So I spoke to a mate of mine. He's a mate called Chris. He's bringing his video scope across with him in the next few days, so we could just stick it in the cylinder and see what's going on in there really. Give us a rough idea. I know it's fucked, excuse the French, but it just give me an idea before I take everything off. So the engine's coming out. That's a guaranteed. The engine is coming out, but it'll be slow time. So I've lent my mate, another mate called Jamie, my engine hoist and my engine stand. So I'll get those back in due course, because he's putting the engine back in his classic Mini pretty soon. So I will get those back when he's finished. So yeah, just make a start really and just taking bits away, but I've got to make space first in the garage because I've got boxes everywhere. You know, after the camper conversion, it's just, you know, I've got a shed full of them as well with bits. So slow time today to maintain sanity more than anything else. I'm gonna put a Stanley blade through them all and flat them up and take them to the tip. Obviously I can't drive at the minute. I'm not keen on driving, so until I get my I've got an MRI scan booked for this coming Monday, so we'll wait and see what happens with that. So although officially I am allowed to drive and my hand is stronger, and it is tempting to go and see how well it's healing, to try it out. I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to do it or not. We'll see. We will see. But if I get a diagnosis that it has been a TIA, transient ischemic attack, therefore the hammer drops after that, and it's a 4-week mandatory no driving period. And thankfully it's 4 weeks. Thank God for that really, because I was looking and thinking it might be something like 12 months. And nah, I really no for me on that one, although I'd have no choice. Right, that's it on the blocks. So I can get the jack now underneath under the sump, and of course, like I mentioned in the last video, I was just going to lift the nose end up a little bit more, but I'll leave that till I got the wheels off. So just lift it a marginal amount. So yeah, it's on there ready to be jacked up, and put the axle stands underneath it. I'm not going to do it today because I don't know what it is. Anything after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I just get really tired. Well, I know what it is, but you know, it's having an effect. But yeah, really quite tired, and I'm going to leave it. So once again, show season starting, and it's in the garage with nowhere to go. But it's my fault this time. Totally my fault, but there you go. But at least the brakes are sorted, the suspension is sorted. It just needs the engine sorting out. This is literally the only thing I haven't worked on this, because of course it is already running, and running really well when I bought it. But it seems it's now the turn of the engine, so we're going to get stuck in the next few weeks. So yeah, just time to get stripping really slowly. Get it up on the axle stands as high as I can, so I can get to the exhaust, disconnect the exhaust. I had great difficulty trying to fit the engine last time with the manifold installed, so I'm going to basically undo the manifold on at the head and do the reverse of how I fitted it, because it was a pain in the ass to get to it from underneath. It's not ideal when you're working under the car on the ground. It's always good to have a two-poster or something like that, but obviously I haven't got the luxury of that, and I wasn't planning on taking this thing out anytime soon. But you know, these things happen, I guess. But so yeah, almost time to take the engine out and see what we're dealing with. Right then, now that the car's on its blocks, the 2x2s, I obviously had to put them on there to lift the car enough to get the trolley jack underneath the sump, to get to the subframe to jack the car up to get the axle stands on. So first things first, really, I'm going to disconnect the battery. I'm not really working on the engine today, but the plan is to jack the car up, jack it up, wheels off, get an axle stands. So jack it up, get an axle stands, wheels off, and maybe just take the grill off, and definitely take the headlamp protectors off. So that's today's plan. So I'm going to, my consultant, when I left the hospital the other week, he said keep using your hand and your arm. So yeah, I'm going to carry on using them. So I'm going to see what I can do. So mobility's improved, but the strength isn't quite there. So we'll see how it goes. Doing these, would normally be piece of piss jobs. So yeah, I'm going to get you on a time lapse, and I'll be back in a bit. See you in a minute. Right, so that's the wheels off again. So I'm going to pop the air filter off. Bit of a tight squeeze this. Excuse the shaky camera. There we go. So that's off. Hello, looks okay in there. So I'll get the covers off, clip off nicely. I need to tidy up the workbench, just the workspace here. I'll do that in a bit. Off camera, you don't really need to see any of that because it's really tedious. But so yeah, as I planned, that's the headlamp covers, headlamp protectors, wheels. My left hand's a bit more useful today. So it's coming up to 2 weeks since it happened. So mobility is pretty good, thankfully, but there's no real strength there, so it can be useful. But you know, my arm gets tired, my leg gets tired, and in turn I get tired quite easily. So you know, get the place tidied up, make myself some storage space, and start the slow job of draining the fluids and disconnecting the fuel. Disconnect the bottom bottom hose first, and drain the water out from there. I just need to find a couple of buckets to do that, and disconnect the fuel lines, and then disconnect the wiring loom and those kinds of bits, and find out where I put the engine lift points, because I had obviously had one in here, and I think I had one at the back somewhere. I can't recall. I need to remember where I put them and where I actually fitted them on the engine to lift it. So yeah, plenty to do, plenty to work on. So I'll be removing the battery in a bit as well. Yeah, got it all to do really. And not being in A1 condition is just going to add to it. Normally it'd be, you know, routine piece of piss, you know, disconnect the hub, crack open the hub nuts, blah blah blah, and all the rest of it. But what I'm going to do actually as well, I've got some cardboard boxes in there to put underneath the car so the carpet doesn't get wet if I get spillage with the coolant. So I'm actually going to jack the rear of the car up to the same level. So I'll dip the front end down a little bit, but before that I need to disconnect the exhaust, and I'll also need to disconnect or remove the manifold securing nuts. So that was a right pain in the tits last time, so I'm looking forward to doing that actually, especially with this. But all in good time, no rush, just crack on with it nice and easily, so so I can get the engine out and see what's going on in there when I peel the head off. I'm sincerely hoping it's not going to be bad, and that I can, you know, change the cylinder head would be ideal. No valves burnt, no pistons burnt, although I suspect it's either more than likely going to be a piston that's burnt, and possibly a valve. Yeah, we'll see actually how it goes. Welcome back again, and just at the end of removing the bits and getting the car prepped and stuff like that, he's popped by with his video scope, and we put the camera down cylinders 2 and 1, and although the camera scope, you're probably hearing my new little garage companion, well, 12 weeks in 4 days time, little Labrador or Retriever pup called Elsie. So so yeah, she'll be probably featuring in an occasional video or so. But yeah, so we put the camera down the cylinders, and much to my surprise, and much to my surprise, there was no damage to the piston. It all looked really, really good, clean, no burning. Come on in, get up. And number one was the same. So that's the bottom end effectively, at this moment in time, intact, so without damage. So it now looks like it's potentially a valve, and I'm happy. I'd be happy with that, with no damage to hopefully the cylinders and stuff like that. So yeah, it's crack on really with engine removal, peel the cylinder head off and see where we go from there. But I'll put some photos down in there so you can have a look. The photos of the camera screen, unfortunately there was no SD card to be fitted in the camera, but for what it was, I was really quite impressed with it. So thanks to Hayes for bringing the camera over today. I had a really good chat, really good to touch base and have a good chin wag. And so yeah, thanks for that, mate. And so I'm going to end this video really, and I'll catch up with you hopefully next week to continue taking the bits from around the engine and eventually the engine out and the cylinder head off, so we can see where we go. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, and stay safe, take care, and I'll see you next week.